All right, and now onto the NBA playoffs. I don't know, East or West, who is really hoping and who is hoping? Just hoping. Let's see. Yeah?
Okay, who's in the East?
Who is hoping? East or West?
Yeah, I will start with the East. It's an easier conference to break down. They are the usual suspects actually hooping, if you like. Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
That series of theirs. I mean, they should continue to dominate. They won game one. They're up against the Miami Heat. Actually, it's not an easy matchup. It's 1-8.
Yeah.
Somebody who came through the play-in. But Miami Heat with Tyler Hero playing hero basketball, with Bama Adebayo and all the experience they have around.
These guys were in the NBA final a couple of years ago.
Yeah, having come again from so far down to as a seed, I think again as 8 to reach the NBA final. So they are competitors. They are tough. They've got the weapons to compete actually. But
Mark, Eric Spoelstra has been rated as among the finest NBA coaches in the league. When he had the super team with Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Chris Bosh and the likes, there was a feeling that
and Ray Allen.
I mean, he had such a super team that any coach would probably do with such a squad, but with such a roster. Listen, the guy has taken the hit deep in the playoffs, back into the finals. He's rebuilt sides, and I mean that's testament to
how good he is.
How good he is
now he's doing it. Now he's having to do it without Jimmy Butler.
Without Jimmy Butler, exactly.
Because Jimmy Butler,
who's been the face of the franchise.
Who's gone to Golden State. Yeah, but Andrew Wiggins, who came in from Golden State in that trade, is actually doing very well for them, both in the playing and now the playoffs. Yeah, so they're competitive, but they're up against Cavs team, which is arguably the best in the league. That five of theirs is amazing. We're talking about that front court of two bigs, Jaren Allen and Evans Mobley, hard to stop as a pair of Twin Towers. Actually, and it looks like it's the trend in the NBA these days. You having those two bigs, unless you're Golden State. Then they have that backcourt, of course. We've talked about them a lot here.
Garland and Donovan Mitchell.
Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, and the fifth man is DeAndre Hunter. Again, also who they also got in a trade. I think the trade which took Karis LeVert and others out of there. So they have a very good five, and then they have good backup. And I think they'll over the 7 games prove too much for the Heat. I think the Heat might win a game or two, but that's it. I think the Cavs should win that. The second series has a game 2 coming up. That's the Boston Celtics against the Orlando Magic. I'm afraid the Orlando Magic are overmatched as well. Yeah. They're playing well.
Magic will do well to get a game.
They have some good. I mean, Banchero, and it looks like it's good for a game. Playing as well as he is, Paolo Banchero.
If Magic play very well, they'll do a gentleman sweep.
Yeah, maybe. Because it's tough against the Celtics. The Boston Celtics remain the most the franchise you can bank on the most, to bet on to win this championship again, because they are
especially after testing the championship last season.
And last season they suffered health issues throughout, because they didn't have Porzingis for a lot of the playoffs, for example. But now they're super healthy. Porzingis has started the playoffs in there. He's there big. He's the cheat code they have. A guy with length who can do everything at the rim, but can step out and shoot it like a guard. And so he does a lot of things. Him, and then they've got Al Horford as another big, Maxi Klein, I think. But they've got all these guards and forwards, long guys who have the ability to defend at all, but can score. Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, they score like crazy. Jason Tatum is somebody who is always overlooked for MVP because he plays with very good players. But he should be. I mean, he puts up MVP performances and numbers year in, year out, and they're still playing good ball. And they have been people like Drew Holiday, and I mean, it's just a team. And the guys who step off the bench. Look at the Celtics, They have guys who come off the bench. I'll tell you about Peyton Pritchard. And Peyton Pritchard is one of the top 10 highest, has one of the top 10, is in the top 10 of the highest 3-pointers made this season. And this is a bench player. He comes off the bench, he shoots them like crazy. He walks into threes and can shoot the lights out. So actually the Celtics have 3 players in the top 10 of the guys who shot the most threes this year. because the most number of threes were made by Anthony Edwards of Minnesota Timberwolves on 320, and he was just ahead, I think, just one ahead of Mike Beasley. Mike Beasley, who plays with the Magic. Well, we talked about him. Number 3 was Steph Curry on 311. And then you have the top 10.
Steph Curry came 3.
Yeah, the top 10 has 3 Celtics players. Jason Tatum, Derek White, who is their point guard, as well as that Peyton Pritchard, who comes off the bench. So the rest of the top 10 had Tyler Hero. It had Tyler Hero from Miami, yes. And who else?
Of course, Steph missed a chunk of the season.
Yeah, Steph, he could easily have had, but only 3 of them had more than 300.
Yeah.
So him and Mike Beasley and
it's amazing, Mark, how it's a 3-point shooting league. It's a 3-point shooting
exactly.
league.
That's why I talk about it,
changing.
because that's why it's impossible for the Celtics to beat. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the league, and they for fast breaks they spot up and hit threes instead of run to the rim. Pritchard actually and White and all. They can shoot the lights out even when JB is called, Brown is called, or Tatum is called. You have guys who can score. So that's a tough series, and they should win it. They probably will even sweep it, but maybe a gentleman's sweep with 4-1. So then the third one is that matchup between number 4 and 5. It's it's the one which is supposed to be tough. Indiana Pacers are dominating it right now.
The Pacers are running away with it.
They're leading 2-0 against the Bucks. The Bucks, of course, have had health issues, but for game 2, Dame Lillard came back and Giannis was playing. They still lost with both of them, and because Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner and Nemba and all those guys, they have a good unit. They're well coached. They play very good team basketball. They're crazy in transition. They run the court up and down all day and everything. They can shoot the basketball and everything, and they have a team leader now who has been insulted by being called the most overrated player, Tyrese Halliburton. So that's inspired him. So I saw that last night, how he was playing against them in this game 2. But look, the Bucks, and Doc Rivers has been laughed at for saying in the press that he feels very confident about this series because they're 2-0 down. Everybody's saying, what are you talking about? But in all honesty, when you go to Milwaukee, Giannis will definitely win a ball game on his own. Whether others show up or not, on that court, Giannis will drop 60 with 20 boards and a few assists and miss some free throws, miss whatever, and still win your basketball game. So he will do it.
Mark,
Giannis is the closest to Superman you have in the league right now.
What else was Doc Rivers going to say? That's number 1. 2, history shows that when teams are 2-0 down in NBA, it's quite a side.
They rarely come back.
They rarely come back. And the pressure is going to be on the Bucks in game 3. It's not going to be on the Pacers.
No, it will be on the Bucks,
And listen, when you go 3-0 down, the series is...
It's done. It's done. Again, because it's even more rare to come back from 3-0.
And the Pacers, all of a sudden, they do think that we have them by the balls. And listen, the Bucks have got to do some superhuman stuff. To turn around those series.
I agree, Mark. I agree. Because the thing is, anyway, even before the series started, I gave it to Pacers. So did you. So did many people. Especially because of the health issues the Bucks have had, and the consistency issues over the season. Because they barely got in. Eventually, they got in at 5, but they started so poorly. But the Pacers have been consistent. Thing is, though, that I guarantee you that the Bucks must win a game on home court. I've seen Giannis take games into his own hands and become like a raging bull, a wrecking train, had to stop.
Well, he posted back-to-back triple doubles not so long ago. Who would have thought that Giannis would post back-to-back triple doubles? Giannis having double digits in assists. When he gets double digits in rebounds and points, that's expected.
Yes.
But Giannis having double digit assists.
Bad. That's why.
He's added another dimension to his game.
Yeah, he can decide to do it all. Yeah, he's Captain America. Now, then we go to the Western Conference. Number 1 are looking very, very good. We have talked about the Cavs looking good in the East. The Oklahoma City Thunder are looking even better.
That's a sweep.
In the West,
That's going to be a sweep. Forget about just winning one game. That's going to be a sweep.
So this is...
are winning that series 4-0.
4-0, you think? Yeah. I think the Grizzlies, and I think Jan Morant and...
unless
Ja Morant and Desmond Bain and...
unless Hartenstein and Shaq...
And Jaren Jackson Jr.
Unless they decide to give them a game.
No, that 3-man combination. Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bain. I think they're also good for a game. when they go back to Memphis. Yes? But it's going to be tough for them because OKC are so consistent. I talked about Twin Towers at Cleveland Cavaliers, the two bigs who are winning them games. They also have their Twin Towers, Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. But Chet
Hartenstein is like as big as Walker's house.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
He's massive.
and Chet is even taller. So
yeah.
there's a taller Twin Towers combo than the one even at the Cavs.
Yeah.
Hartenstein is scoring with this floater, that soft touch of his and the floater. Chet can hit from anywhere, from downtown and from inside and everything. And yet they have SGA, who's the best player in the league this year.
Bonafide superstar.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They're doing things even when it's cold because they have such a super team. Jalen Williams, everybody steps in and does stuff. OKC are really well grilled. You feel for the Grizzlies, but because Ja is Ja.
I want to see, Mark. I want to see, and listen, we'll get there. But I want to see OKC when they're taking on Luka and LeBron.
Yeah, that would be
because OKC, for all the brilliance, which is well documented, they don't have that DNA.
No.
Of the
they don't have championship DNA.
And
nobody in there with the experience.
They're not tested deep in the postseason.
Yes.
So I want to see what kind of metal they're made of.
When they come up against either Nikola Jokic or LeBron and Luka, those combinations.
Or even the Golden State Warriors.
Or Steph and Butler.
Because whatever you say about Golden State Warriors, they know how to win.
They know how to
win.
How
they win, I don't even know how they do it.
Yeah, they would be so outsized against OKC.
I watched.
Too small for OKC.
They're too small for OKC. They're too small even for the Rockets.
Yeah. But they're still winning the ball games.
They're winning ball games.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
How they're doing it.
So that's OKC for you.
Mark, I know you will discuss, and I've preempted you, but one of the trades, Mark, of the season has got to be that one which brought Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's where we're going anyway, because now Houston are number 2. So let's talk that. Yeah.
I mean, I've always known Butler to be one of the few players who play better in the postseason than regular season, but the impact, the influence he's had on Golden State Warriors is unbelievable. Early this season, Mark, I was on this show and I said I didn't think Warriors would be a factor in this season.
Yes, yeah.
But that's because I didn't anticipate them
getting this trade. Yeah.
And what Butler has done to the Warriors is unbelievable.
No, it's amazing because since it crossed, Mark, they've been one of the best teams in the league, best records in the league since Feb.
Oh yes.
And that was at a time when they were looking like they might even be out of the playoff picture completely.
Oh yes.
They fought, but because the West was so tight, they still dropped into a play-in,
yes.
Especially because of losing that last game to the Clippers. But they came out of that play-in, and they're in the playoff proper, and they're going to take on Houston in the second game. Look, Houston have one of the toughest defenses in the league. It's suffocating D, and they guard their perimeter very well. They are basically mugging. This is dark alley mugging. Yeah. It is street type mugging of Steph Curry. That's what the defense they are playing on him. Yeah. They are hugging him. They are blitzing off screens, blitzing and doubling him. They're doing things to Steph.
But guess what, Mark?
But this is the guy who still drops 30 on you even when you blitz him.
And besides that,
when you blitz and mug him. Yeah.
Jimmy Butler thrives in matchups of that kind.
Mm-hmm.
Butler is got such physicality. He thrives in games of that kind. Because I look at him, I mean, his mid-range game, he can shoot the three, he can post up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's given the Warriors a new dimension altogether. And they have confidence in him. They know that he's a bona fide star in his own right. I mean, you've got to see the things Damon Green says about Jimmy Butler. And Green is the emotional leader of that team. And if he embraces you, then obviously you're going to do well there. And listen, would I put money on the Warriors winning the championship? Probably not. But Warriors have got the capacity to beat any team.
Yes, they do. So, Butler, because now what they do is actually they have 2 closers on the team. While they don't have to look to Steph to be the one to close out all games, have to do heroics, hit threes at the buzzer and everything. Because if he doesn't take the shot, Butler can take it. And it doesn't have to be a 3. Butler can win you the ball game in different ways. So they've got 2 closers. And like along with Draymond Green, these guys have got a good squad around them, a good roster around them of guys who come in and help chip in and do the dirty stuff. Podziemski is one of the best players coming off the bench anywhere in the league, but he has been a starter now. Moses Moody, even Kevon Looney comes on and gives them some 8-10 minutes every once in a while, the big man. They've actually got the roster to compete. But there's still, as you can see, there's still a lot of work that Steph has to put in for this team to win. Thankfully, and he's one of the fittest sportsmen in the world, he has got to be. You can't be running around at this age. He's 36 going on 37, almost 37, isn't it? And he is still running off screens, being blitzed and all, being hugged, being guarded off the court, and he's still coming up with the goods every single time. He's doing a 30 points, 5 assists, 5 rebound man.
Listen, Mark, when Steph lost KD, the scrutiny was on him because that time I think Clay was still out injured.
Yes.
Then he delivers the championship without KD.
Yes.
And now Clay leaves, and we're like, let's see how Steph.
Brothers are gone.
Yeah, let's how.
The end of an era. Actually,
Listen,
everybody
for me,
says it's the end
the
of a
football,
dynasty.
the end of a dynasty.
Yeah.
The basketball, Steph has played every time. People have questioned his mettle, his brilliance is unbelievable. The things he's done this season to carry that franchise, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Steph, I mean, his fitness. Talk about his fitness. People talk about Steph as the three-point king. Listen, Steph is a lot more than the three-point
Just
shooter.
a three-point shooter, yeah.
How he collapses defenses, because it must be a nightmare to coach against Steph, because he's moving all around. Steph has got an inside game, a very underrated aspect of his game. He's got an inside game.
He's one of the best finishers around the league. Even the stats support that.
Even the stats support that,
yeah.
you know.
And of course, he will sink you on the free throw line. He's a good passer of the ball.
He's a good passer of the
It's
ball.
just that he doesn't rack up as many assists as some point guards because Warriors share the ball a lot.
They share the ball a lot,
he will pass and then somebody will pass as well and then pass. But he'll still do 5+.
Mark, you play the game of basketball. I mean, as a coach, even as if you're defending Steph, it's a nightmare because you have got to work. You've got to be very, very fit. You can't keep up with Steph.
No, Steph is mad. In game 1 against the Rockets, there's this one bucket where he runs from the top of the key. He brings the ball up, runs from the top of the key, passes it, runs to the corner to wait for a corner 3, which is the simplest for any basketballer. But for Steph, he can even close his eyes on a corner 3. Runs to the corner, gets guarded there. So Draymond receives the ball, so Steph starts to cut. He cuts. Gets the ball, passes it to a big and relocates and shoots from the other corner, a 3 from the other corner. All of that happened in like 2 seconds. At most 3 seconds.
Unbelievable.
The guy who's guarding him, even without a screen, has to run that much.
Oh, yes.
And it's madness.
So he makes his opponent.
It's madness. But anyway,
workouts.
They should take care of the Rockets. But the Rockets are too strong and too big and too young to not win a ball game.
This series could go 6 games, even 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the problem with the Rockets, Mark, my problem with the Rockets is they don't have their offense. I question their offense. They don't have that go-to person who's going to.
They don't score enough, to be honest. When I see, because they're depending on Şengün. Şengün is a young center from Turkey, super talented player.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's got to come up with the goals because most of the other guys can't score consistently.
Yeah.
The only other guy on the team who actually scores consistently is the veteran Fred Van Vliet.
Van Vliet, yes.
And Van Vliet has a championship to his name.
He does,
from won the Raptors. Yeah. So that's good championship
Şengün cannot be a closer.
That Şengün,
Cannot be a closer.
Him and Fred, Dylan Brooks, guys who can defend but they can't score.
The kind of things Denver have got a 7-footer in Jokic, but Jokic is the ultimate closer. Because Jokic will kill you anywhere. He will kill you inside, he'll kill you outside, he'll kill you on the line. He's such a fluid.
And that's the other series actually, which has closers because Denver. He's talking about Denver. That's 4 and 5.
That could be the matchup of the series. Across the West and the East because it's even.
It's the best series. Yeah.
It's the best series. It's the best series. And then you have
Clippers up against.
I was talking about Jimmy Butler being the best postseason player. I think Kawhi would want to dispute that.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi in game 2 was a possessed man.
Yeah, he dropped 39. He was not losing.
And not just 39, Mark. If you watch the 39, 15 of those 19 shots were contested shots.
Yeah. And he scored all of them,
And he scored all of them.
He's the master of the mid-range. He's a very, very tough shot. Whether you're on his face or not, he can score from mid-range. And then he can hit the 3 can take you to the bucket. He can dunk left, right-handed, and everything.
He's very strong.
This guy, he can pass. He's strong. He plays defense like a crazy person. He will steals, blocks, everything. I mean, they call him the claw. He's got a palm twice as big as this.
Grab the ball.
So him and James Harden are on a Clippers team, which is really good. A Clippers team in which they've even rejuvenated the career of Ben Simmons. Because and now they've won a game. This is a series which looks like 7 games, because they won a tight game and they lost a game 1 opener, which was really tight. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Jimmy Michael Porter Jr. and all those guys, they have the ability to win, and so do the Clippers.
Well, they've won the championship before, yeah.
So this
Kawhi also won the championship.
This looks like 7 games, but but it's amazing again here, because one of the problems, because they've got a good matchup for Jokic, the Clippers in Zubac. And Zubac is getting into Jokic's head. Actually, Jokic, he has started to try to show the referees that he's being mugged. So he's flopping, he's exaggerating the fouls on him, just to tell the referees that, guys, you need to watch off the ball. I am being beaten up here. But even Jokic, you know how we say Steph runs around the court and can't be guarded for a whole game? Yes. There are no 7-footers who can play the number of minutes that Jokic plays every single game. So, I mean, 7-footers to guard him, they have to be able to stay on court that long. And none of them can. It's madness. This guy can do 48 minutes.
The remark is that Jokic looks unfit.
Yeah.
But somehow he manages his body.
He can,
You have to know how to work around that.
Yeah, certainly. So that is a series that might go 7 games. But it's quite interesting. So the Lakers is the other series against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. That series is now tied 1-1. Lakers bounced back after a terrible showing in game 1, where they were completely outplayed by Anthony Edwards and the shooting of the Timberwolves. They bounced back, they made adjustments and came and played. That other game, they trailed early because virtually Luka Doncic was playing on his own. LeBron started the game poorly and other players were not being involved, so Doncic took it upon himself to play. Game 2, he was still the star of the game. Doncic, he will be the star. LeBron can ride onto him on his back for a ring. But the others stepped up. Bron played well, and so did the other players, Austin Reeves and Jared Vanderbilt and all. But one of the things they did is they limited the shooting. That shooting percentage was so high for Timberwolves, it was always going to drop in game 2. They limited that shooting and then defended better against Anthony Edwards and company. So they won that game, and they won it easily, game 2. But that is a series that is also going to be long. I mean, people joke a lot, talk about Lakers in 5 and everything, quoting Shannon Sharp, and I mean, there's all sorts of crazy Lakers fans around the world, and Uganda has its fair share. And these guys are always on our cases on the different forums we're on. But to be honest, they're not necessarily favorites, even in this series. It's just that when you have LeBron and Luka, it's why we are saying they will go deep into the playoffs, might even reach the NBA
They have 2
finals.
of the greatest minds to ever play the game.
But ideally, Anthony Edwards and company, the Timberwolves are the bigger team. They have Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle inside. And perhaps outside they are the more versatile team. Naz Reid comes off the bench. They
shoots threes. Big man who shoots threes.
Him and DiVincenzo, they have guys who step off the bench, Naz Reid and DiVincenzo, who can actually be go-to people, who can win your ball game. Just by, they have great offense and they can score. So it's a tough series for the Lakers. It will be, even if we fancy them to go deep in the series, the playoffs.
They've got first to take care of business.
And it won't be easy.
It won't be easy.
Yeah. Even if they've split actually they've split. The Timberwolves have the advantage because they've split and they're now taking it back to Minnesota.
Taking it to Minnesota,